The Skate series, developed by EA Black Box, holds a special place in the hearts of gamers and skateboarding enthusiasts alike. First released in 2007, the series introduced a refreshing take on the skateboarding genre, previously dominated by the Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise. While the latter relied on arcade-like gameplay and over-the-top tricks, Skate opted for a grounded, realistic approach that revolutionised not only how skateboarding games were played, but also how they felt. The release of Skate marked a turning point in the world of skateboarding games. By the mid-2000s, the gaming landscape was saturated with titles that relied on exaggerated mechanics and repetitive objectives. Skateboarding as a sport is deeply rooted in creativity, perseverance and authenticity, yet many games had failed to capture those aspects. Skate arrived as a breath of fresh air, offering players a more immersive and skill-based experience that mirrored the true spirit of skateboarding. It wasn't just a game, it was an experience that resonated deeply with players, whether they were die-hard skaters or simply someone new trying to experience the game. Skate's success can be attributed to its innovative controls, realistic physics, and its ability to capture the culture of skateboarding in a way that no game really had achieved before. The series became more than just a franchise, but what exactly made the Skate series so good? Before the release of Skate, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series was the undisputed king of skateboarding games. Released in 1999, the first game introduced millions of players to the thrill of skateboarding with its fast-paced arcade-style gameplay and a focus on pulling off insane trick combos. The series became a cultural phenomenon, bolstered by its iconic soundtracks and the involvement of real-life skateboarding legend Tony Hawk. Titles like THPS 2 and THPS 3 are still regarded as some of the greatest video games of all time, and for good reason. The first game popularised skateboarding and gaming by emphasising accessibility and high-energy fun. Players could string together gravity-defying tricks, grind on seemingly endless rails, and perform impossible combos that pushed the boundaries of believability. It was a perfect representation of skateboarding as a larger-than-life, adrenaline-fueled activity. However, by the mid-2000s, the formula began to feel stale. With each successive release, the THPS games became more exaggerated and less grounded, leading to a decline in interest. This is where Skate made its mark. Unlike Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which leaned into its arcade-like roots, Skate prioritised realism and authenticity. Where Tony Hawk Pro Skater encouraged players to chase high scores through fantastical trick combinations, Skate emphasised the challenge and satisfaction of landing even simple tricks. The shift from button mashing controls to the innovative flick-it system was a game changer. In THPS, performing a kickflip was as simple as pressing a single button. But in Skate, it required a precise analog stick movement that mirrored the actual mechanics of the trick. This fundamental difference created a more immersive and skill-based experience. Furthermore, Skate's open world design was stark contrast to the level-based structure of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Instead of completing objectives in confined maps, Skate invited players to explore vast, realistic urban environments. The fictional cities of San Barnalona and Port Caverton were filled with natural skate spots, hidden areas, and opportunities for creative expression. This freedom to approach challenges at your own pace was a breath of fresh air for players who had grown tired of the rigid objectives in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Another key difference was the tone and presentation. While THPS celebrated skateboarding's rebellious high-energy culture with larger-than-life gameplay, Skate took a more grounded approach. The game captured the subtleties of skateboarding, from the sound of wheels rolling on pavement to the sense of satisfaction that comes with perfecting a line. This focus on realism resonated deeply with players who wanted a more authentic representation of the sport. At the heart of Skate's appeal was its innovative control system, known as Flick-it. Unlike traditional button mashing inputs, the Flick-it system utilised the right analog stick to simulate the movement of a skater's feet. For example, an ollie required a simple downward flick followed by an upward flick, while more complex tricks like kickflips or heel flips demanded nuanced diagonal movements. This approach fundamentally changed how players interacted with the game. Tricks no longer felt like a series of pre-programmed animations, but rather actions that required precision, timing, and practice. This added a layer of authenticity that appealed to both casual gamers and real-life skaters. By making players feel like they were directly responsible for their tricks, Skate turned every successful grind, flip, or manual into a small but satisfying achievement. Beyond gameplay, the Flick-it system set a new standard for sports game. It wasn't just a novel control scheme, it was a design philosophy that respected the complexity of the activity it represented. The system's learning curve mimicked the process of learning tricks in real life, creating a deeper emotional connection between players and their on-screen avatar. The tactile satisfaction of nailing a perfect trick using the analog stick made Skate's gameplay infinitely replayable. While other skateboarding games leaned heavily into exaggerated physics and impossible combos, Skate embraced realism to a certain extent, of course. The game's physics engine prioritised believable movement and weight, capturing the details of skateboarding. Players couldn't simply spam tricks and expect to land them. Balance, speed and positioning all played a crucial role. Skate's dedication to realism extended far beyond its physics engine. The animations were meticulously crafted to replicate the subtleties of skateboarding. From the way skaters' knees bent during a landing to the slight adjustments made during a grind. The game also factored in environmental elements such as the texture of surfaces, inclines and momentum, all of which influenced gameplay. These details elevated Skate from being just a game to an authentic simulation. The environments themselves were masterpieces of design. The fictional cities of San Vanalona in the first two games and Port Caverton in Skate 3 were not just backdrops but integral parts of the gameplay. Each area felt alive with pedestrians, traffic and urban noise adding to the immersion, maybe not to the extent of detail we're accustomed to in today's games, but for the standard it set over a decade ago, it was still impressive. Skate's developers paid close attention to creating realistic skate spots, from stair sets and handrails to drainage ditches and skate parks, ensuring players felt like they were exploring a living, breathing city. Skate encouraged creativity in a way few games did. The open world design allowed players to experiment with tricks and lines, fostering a sandbox-like experience. Players could chain tricks together, find new spots, or invent their own challenges. This creativity was amplified by the robust replay editor, which allowed players to record, edit, and share the best moments. This feature tapped into the skateboarding culture's love of videography and storytelling. Just like real-life skaters create skate videos to showcase their skill, skate players could produce cinematic montages to share with friends or the online community. The replay editor wasn't just a gimmick, it was a powerful tool that let players control camera angles, adjust playback speeds, and add stylistic flair to their footage. This made every player feel like a director, capturing their unique perspective on skateboarding. The game's creativity extended to its challenges and missions, which often encouraged outside-the-box thinking. For example, players might be tasked with landing a trick over an unconventional obstacle or creating a custom line using environmental features. This emphasis on creativity made Skate stand out from other games that relied on rigid objectives. Skate 3 took creativity to the next level with its Create a Park mode. This feature allowed players to design and build their own skate parks from the ground up, placing ramps, rails, bowls and other obstacles to create unique skating experiences. Not only could players customize parks to suit their personal style, but they could also share these creations with the online community, fostering a sense of collaboration and inspiration. The ability to craft your own skatable environments added an entirely new dimension to the game, empowering players to bring their imagination to life. This feature became a beloved aspect of Skate 3, providing virtually endless replayability as players explored and skated in each other's creations. The Skate series succeeded in capturing the spirit of skateboarding culture, from the soundtrack, featuring a mix of punk, hip-hop and indie tracks, to the inclusion of real-world skateboarding brands and pro skaters. The game felt authentic. Players could customize a character with gear from iconic brands, adding a personal touch to their in-game personas. Skate's attention to cultural authenticity went beyond aesthetics. The inclusion of professional skaters like Danny Way, Chris Cole or Rob Dyrdek wasn't just a fan service, it was a way to ground the game in the real-world skateboarding scene. These skaters often acted as mentors or rivals, adding depth to the game's narrative. The storylines, focused on rising from an amateur to a pro, mirrored the real-life journeys of many skaters, creating a relatable experience for players. The game also nailed the vibe of skateboarding, whether it was laid-back atmosphere of cruising through the city, the camaraderie of skating with friends, or the thrill of discovering a hidden spot. Skate captured the intangible essence of what makes skateboarding so special. One of Skate's most notable features was its steep learning curve. Unlike the Tony Hawk games, where anyone could jump in and pull off a 900-degree spin within minutes, Skate required patience and practice. The nuanced controls and realistic physics meant that mastering even basic tricks took effort, but the payoff was immense. This learning curve created a sense of progression and accomplishment. Landing a kickflip down a set of stairs or grinding a rail after several failed attempts felt genuinely rewarding. This focus on skill building mirrored the real-world experience of learning to skateboard, further grounding the game in its authenticity. More importantly, the game's difficulty encouraged perseverance, especially in Skate 3 when played on the hardest difficulty. Failing a trick didn't feel frustrating, it felt like an opportunity to try again. This cycle of trial and error mirrored the real-world process of learning skateboarding, making each success feel hard-earned and meaningful. It also gave players a reason to keep coming back, as there was always something new to master. While the first two Skate games laid the groundwork, Skate 3 refined the formula and added features that elevated the series to new heights. One of its standout additions was the Creative Park mode, which I already mentioned. Skate 3 also introduced a cooperative and competitive multiplayer mode, encouraging players to team up or face off in various challenges. The sense of teamwork and team play and competition mirrored real-life skate crews, further immersing players in the culture. The online integration went beyond multiplayer games. Players could share custom parks, tricks, and videos, creating a sense of community that transcended the game itself. This focus on community and user-generated content made Skate 3 feel like a platform for creativity and connection, rather than just a standalone game. What truly set Skate apart was its ability to strike a balance between realism and fun. While the game prioritized authentic physics and controls, it never felt bogged down by its realism. The game's humor, quirky NPCs, and occasional over-the-top moments, like launching your character into ridiculous crashes in Hall of Meat mode, added levity and kept the experience enjoyable. This balance ensured that Skate appealed to a wide audience. Hardcore skaters appreciated its authenticity, while casual players could still enjoy its accessibility and humour. This dual appeal was a key factor in the series' enduring popularity. Even years after its initial release, the Skate series remains beloved. Its realistic approach to skateboarding, combined with its emphasis on creativity and community, set a standard that few games have matched. The announcement of Skate 4 in 2020 reignited interest in the franchise, proving that its legacy endures. The timelessness of Skate lies in its ability to capture the essence of skateboarding, a blend of challenge, creativity, and freedom. Whether players are revisiting the series for nostalgia or discovering it for the first time, Skate continues to resonate with audiences, proving that great design and authenticity never go out of fashion. The Skate series was more than just a skateboarding game. It was a love letter to the culture, creativity, and challenges of skating. By introducing innovative controls, prioritizing realism, and fostering a sense of community, Skate carved out its own niche in the gaming world. Its influence can be seen in modern skateboarding games and the continued enthusiasm of its fanbase. For anyone who's ever picked up a virtual board, the Skate series stands as a testament to what makes gaming and skateboarding so inherently satisfying: the joy of freedom, creativity, and mastery.